live with another episode of Comic Talk. It's that show brought to you by The Key, where we talk about this week's new comic book releases. Whether they're DC Comics, Marvel Comics, indie comics, whatever comics, they all come out every single Wednesday at your local comic shop, and we go live with about 24 hours after that every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/The Keeg Show to talk about everything that we could read in like 24 hours. Now, it's not just me, your host, Dimithri Perera, talking about all the comics that I read. In fact, I got two other guests to round this all out to get the full spread of comics that we can. So if you could see us live, you're watching us at youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or maybe you're listening to Apple Podcasts or the podcast on Spotify, etc., etc. But wherever you are, like, comment, subscribe, follow, write a review. Let us know you're out there. Hop into the chat on YouTube if you want to. We would love to hear what you guys are reading. But yes, if you're watching us live, you can see who our other guests are. We got Jecky, aka Jecky Comics. Jecky, what's up, man?
What's going on, guys? How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I don't know if Brandon's doing great, aka the Cosmic Collector.
I'm doing great. I'm having a great time.
It's always a great time when we can get together and talk comics.
Yes.
Here's a question for you just to kick this off before we talk about our reading lists for this week. From a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being so many amazing comics that you didn't even have time to read everything, and it was just like, jam-packed this week, full of comics, amazing comics to read, versus like a 1 where it's like, oh, there really wasn't many good comics out this week. What was this week from like a 1 to a 10?
Wow. I'll give it like an 8.
Think it was good. It was a good week for comics?
Yeah, decent week. There was some really, really good stuff. There were some okay things, but overall, solid 8.
Okay. All right. Jeky, how do you feel?
I'll give it a 7. A 7. It's like decent week.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I read, I ended up being a little disappointed in a few issues, and we'll get to that. But It was still a great week. But some things I was like, okay.
Okay.
But,
all right. I think I'd probably give it like a 7. Yeah. I wasn't disappointed. I think lower numbers for me is like more disappointment. But like this was like a good solid week where a 7 week still means like I don't get to hit everything that I wanted to hit.
Yeah.
7's mid.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't think 7's mid.
Is it 7 like slightly above mid?
Yeah.
No, we talked about this. I think it was Ambrosia on the Ambrosia episode.
I think that's what it was.
How we have different skewing for our numbers. Like to me, 5 is not mid. 5 is like less than mid. 7 is mid.
Damn.
5
is just like just base.
I agree on 5. I agree on 5. 5 is a terrible week, right? 5 is like a failing grade almost, right?
5 is a terrible week?
Yeah, that's half of your stuff was bad. Yeah.
No, I'm not saying half of the stuff is bad necessarily on my thing. It's just that like there were a couple things I was really excited for, and the rest was like, eh.
But that would be like a 7 or 8 if it's just a couple. I think 5 means like a lot of it was disappointing.
Like half of it, yeah.
Right.
Okay. I feel like
Dimitri.
Look, if we're talking, we're gonna take this podcast, make it a mathematics podcast. It's all about the bell curve. You know what I mean?
Statistics.
The bell curve. You know what I'm talking about?
No one's ever gone a 50% on a score and been like, "Oh, bet."
Well, is the bell curve right at the middle, or is the bell curve skewed towards the 7?
I got half of them.
I don't know. Okay. Well, looks like you guys, either way, no matter how, how you grade everything and whatever, it looks like it was pretty good week, for comics this week, whether it's DC, Marvel, or any other comics out this week. Let us know out there whether it was a good week for you. Ashwan231 Comics says, hello, excited to see what you got, even though it didn't come out this week. I backtracked on Moon Knight #1. Yeah, all for backtracking, Also got some issues this week you lot will have, but the new Venom issue got delayed at my LCS. Also big fan of Cosmic Collector, so happy to see him again. So there you go.
Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Out of all the comics that you read, what's your reading list? Who wants to go hit their reading list first?
You can go, Jecky.
All right. Absolute Batman #18. Imperial Guardians #1. X-Men United #1, Storm, Earth's Mightiest Hero #2, Magic and Colossus #2. I started Green Lantern Corps #14 or Against the Core, and I didn't finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And my pick of the week is Logan Black, White, and Red.
Okay. So we'll go over your pick of the week in just a second after we go through everyone's reading list. But okay. I feel like that was you just being like, nobody better pick it. This is my pick of the week. I'm marking this off.
No, like that was also genuinely surprising. I didn't expect it to be my pick of the week.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying this series, but we'll get to it.
Okay. All right. Brandon, what was your reading list this week?
I had Absolute Batman 18, Absolute Green Lantern 12, Action Comics 1096, Bleeding Hearts 2, Dork 2, Emperor Aquaman 15, Green Lantern Corps 14, Harley and Ivy Life and Crimes 4, Masterminds 4, Sirens Love Hurts 2, Supergirl 11, and Transformers 30.
Very nice. That is a good,
Yeah.
solid list. I want to say I'm proud of both of you. You guys had a really
Thank
good
you.
reading list. This week I was slammed with work, so I didn't get to everything that I wanted to read. But at the same time, no matter how many books we're reading, we're still reading more than most people out there. So no matter what, that's me just trying to make myself feel better.
Watch, he's gonna give us a disclaimer, and his list is gonna be like 15 long.
No. It's
I didn't read as much as everybody else. Here's my 30 things I read.
Right.
Sometimes it is that way, but this week, so Absolute Batman 18, Action Comics 1090. No, I didn't finish Action Comics 1096. Almost did. X-Men United #1, Supergirl 11, Bleeding Hearts #2 from DC Vertigo, Venom 255 from Marvel. And oof, is that it? I think that's it. Yeah.
I don't know why I keep yawning. I swear I'm not tired.
People on the listen to the podcast won't be able to tell unless you're really loud with it.
Oh yeah, I'll make sure to exaggerate next time. Just
Long drink.
But yeah, that's my list. I think it was just like 5 this week, and that's tough. And I feel like I'm gonna make it up to people on the weekend. So there we go. All right. So, but between the three of us, we got a good amount of comics out this week. Let's hit Jacky's pick of the week first, because I feel like, you already said it, Jacky.
Okay. Yeah,
Your pick of
maybe
the
I
week.
got a little ahead. Maybe I got a little ahead of
The
myself.
cat is out of the bag, my friend.
Yeah, so if anyone doesn't know, Logan Black, White, and Red is an anthology series.
Mhm.
And they're short stories, and each story is a specific era in Logan's life. And I love when they incorporate the art with the story. So it's black, white, and red. So it's mainly the big white backgrounds or big red backgrounds, and the red is often used for blood. So
Yeah.
it's just different short stories throughout Logan's life, and I always find these interesting because he's lived for so long. Some of it is really tragic, like some of it is like a random neighbor he had when he had a farm when he was in hiding, and then he's trying to stay low key, but someone ends up killing the neighbor, and then he decides to go to avenge the neighbor. A little cliche, but they're always very good short stories. And when you really use the art to make like kind of like us work with the story like that, I've always liked those when there's kind of like a theme with the color. I like when artists do that. And I don't know how long this is gonna be. This is issue #3, so that's 9 shorts so far, and this is gonna be great too when it's a trade, because it's gonna be a really fun little compact trade.
Are you gonna get the hardcover or whatever?
Probably, yeah. Like I think I've really enjoyed it. Like if some of them have been kind of funny, some of them have been very tragic, and it's just been a nice short anthology series so far.
I've wanted to hop on this one, but I didn't even read issue 1, so I'm a couple issues behind. But I know they're all anthologies, so I could hop on at any point. But it does interest me. I just haven't gotten around to it. You're saying it's worth it?
Yeah, I think so. I'd be curious to see what you think when you catch up.
Yeah, I'm not super critical on it. I'm just I know that Logan has a lot of stories to tell, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You hit a couple of them. You make us feel bad in a way, because tragedy always follows them around. Cool.
Absolutely.
I can see it being a good read.
The color anthologies are really good. Superman Red and Blue is another really good one.
I like how creative they get. Like DC Comics has theirs, Marvel Comics has theirs. DC also has like Wonder Woman Black and Gold.
That was great.
Batman Black and White, and then Harley Quinn Red or Black, White, and Red or something like that.
Yeah. And so like it's really cool when they can use the medium creatively.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
There we go. If you're watching us live, you can see the covers finally for Logan Black, White, and Blood issue number 3. Brandon, you didn't read this one, right?
I did not, no.
Are you a fan of Wolverine?
I mean, I like him. I mean, I'm not like a super fan, but I mean, I like him as a character. He's cool. I like him in the movies. Anything I do read him in, I'm like, oh, this is cool. So
I feel like Wolverine is both overrated and underrated at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think he's overrated in the wrong ways, but he's also underrated in the ways that, like, I like him, which is, like, have him have a heart of gold and don't make him this, like, machismo, masculine man kind of thing. Like, if you take the heart away from Wolverine, you don't, like, learn your lessons. It isn't just, like, a power fantasy of, like, shaking knives around, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, like, I didn't love that the current run with Wolverine that we talked about a few times in the show. I didn't love that run. I actually ended up dropping that one. But yeah, I think he's one of the few characters that I find almost like his past more interesting than his present.
Interesting.
Like I like him as a leader or amongst the leaders or a supporting character for Rogue and the Uncanny X-Men series. But a lot of his solo runs that are present going forward, I haven't been enjoying, which is interesting. Which is why
I like his solo run right now.
Yeah. I stopped at the Gold series. You remember the mini series where everyone that was using vibranium was being attacked because that wasn't a great.
No, did not like that one. You should hop on the one that started like a month ago.
Okay, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I bet. Okay. Yeah, that last series, I was like, all right, this is not for me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Brandon, I'm willing to. I feel like I know your pick of the week, but I could be wrong. What is your pick of the week?
My pick of the week is not what you're thinking it is. It is Absolute Green Lantern issue 12.
You almost had me there.
It really is. Yeah. I loved Absolute Batman 10 out of 10, but Absolute Green Lantern this week was phenomenal. I mean, it's been a really slow burn since the beginning, but I'm loving it. It finally reached that climax of Joe accepting the ring fully and like all of her pain and her grief and going up against Obsidian and Hal Jordan becoming a Pink Lantern. It was all around insanely cool.
Pink Lantern. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm super confused, but also curious on how the lore works with the Absolute Green Lantern core stuff. You don't understand either?
I understand like a base level, but it's definitely more complex than I can probably explain it.
Yeah.
Like it's all about like restraint, and each level is like the knowledge of restraint, the ability to restrain. It's like a weird type of thing. It's not like your willpower, rage, love, like it's different things.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's just something you kind of got to read. It's Al Ewing explains it better than I can.
Okay. I gotta catch up like crazy. That's my really problem.
Yeah.
Same. I stopped at, was it issue number 3 or 4? I didn't like the pacing. I felt like some stories I would rather read in a trade, and it started feeling like that for me. Like when I was the mystery around the town, and I didn't love the pacing, and then I ended up missing 1 week or 1 month, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna catch up on this on trades. So I bought it and I picked it up, but I'm so far behind I haven't been reading them yet. I think I'm gonna let them accumulate and then jump on at some point.
Yeah. I think
it's one of those stories you want to read like all the way through in one sitting. Like having to wait month by month kind of dulls it a little bit.
But a lot of people, someone else was telling me it got really good. I don't remember. It was Someone else that I was talking to who's reading it said that like the past couple issues it got really good. Like something happened with John Stewart that was pretty cool apparently. So I'm excited. I want maybe this weekend I'll sit through and power through it.
I think I'm gonna do that this weekend too. You know,
Yeah.
because I think I'm about ready to like catch back up and get back on track with Absolute Green Lantern. I also feel bad for Absolute Green Lantern because like yeah, for me it didn't start off as strong as like the other books, and so but I don't think it's a bad book. I just fell off it real early, and I didn't give it a shot to like hop back on.
Yeah. Plus I love Joe, so I gotta support Joe.
Yeah.
She's awesome in it. She's written really well.
You guys had some good picks. I am gonna pick a weird one, not weird one for me, but like it's I don't know, a weird one generally speaking. Venom 255. Let me reword it. My pick of the week is Venom issue 255. It is the third part of the Death Spiral crossover event between Spider-Man, Venom, Carnage. I originally was not interested in this crossover event, but then I forgot to myself, wait a minute, I like all three series right now. So why wouldn't I like the crossover? And it's written, you know, partially by each writer in their respective series. But the premise of this is that there's a serial killer named Torment, and Torment is secretly talking to Carnage while Carnage is attached to Eddie Brock. And so it's this three-party sort of situation, all trying to like get to Torment for specific reasons, all while this like serial killer is going on. And what you find out, where it was hinting in the first couple of issues of this arc, you find out what the serial killer's sort of gimmick is. And it hinted real hard in the last issue on what it was, and they finally like said it out loud, and it's like, that's crazy. I don't know if you guys want to get spoiled on what this serial killer is.
Oh, you can say it. Yeah, I'm not reading it.
You see on this like board essentially of all like of two spirals that are intersecting, and each of the spirals, the furthest point away, everybody has the last name of the target essentially. And what the killer is doing, he's tracking and killing your distant relatives and slowly moving his way into your family, like killing like your you know, distant
so
cousins, you know, cousins
he's like
of
taking
cousins.
out your bloodline almost.
Kind
like
of, yeah.
He's like making his way through your family tree almost.
Yeah, but like in a distance sort of way, right? Not physical distance, but like family tree distance. And it's
like your sixth cousins, then your fifth cousins, then your yeah.
But he's not trying to wipe you out either. Like he's not trying to wipe out everyone. It's not like a full like killing the family reunion sort of situation. But he has a method. But the thing about this is he's spiraling Eddie Brock's family with Peter Parker's family. I think it's Peter Parker. I think it's another spiral. So it's like two intersecting spirals that are slowly meeting towards the middle.
Interesting.
And Carnage is feeding him information. And so it's this like whole thing. And
Carnage is an op.
Yeah. And it's crazy. But they finally meet up in this. And they thought that Carnage was the serial killer. But they find out he wasn't. And so, yeah. I'm digging it.
Sounds pretty cool.
I'm behind on the Amazing Spider-Man, the new Amazing Spider-Man run.
I mean, this is a good hopping on point. I mean, the Amazing Spider-Man run pretty much ended with there was like Spider-Man on Earth and Spider-Man in space, and then now that he's back, that's where Death Spiral takes over. So
okay,
you know.
I really enjoyed the reboot. I don't know why. It must have been something happening because I was enjoying it. I think I missed a few. Like I didn't bite them, and I fell behind a little bit. But I really liked that reboot so far, except for the art. But that might have been it. The first
John Romita Jr. art.
Yeah, that's what
I agree with you.
That's what it was. I was like, why did I drop it? I was like, that's what it was. Good story, but sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, come on, bro.
John Romita Jr. I'm not saying he's a horrible artist per se, but I am saying that he has more misses than hits nowadays. And maybe some people said online that it might have to do with going from digital art or going from physical art to digital art, and the way that like his art used to be versus like now it's being essentially forced into digital, and that it just doesn't look as good as it used to look back when he was doing like art in the 80s and 90s and whatever, right? Whatever it is, it's just not good. And I don't know, something about it.
That's what it was. It was the art. I was like,
I can't stand the way he draws Superman, bro. The square head, the freaking weird lines on the face. It's
a little too exaggerated, you know? Like, there's this line sometimes where you can have a specific style, but sometimes you start to lean almost too cartoony.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was right here, and in this series, I'm like,
yeah. Very like Robloxy in the way he designs his characters.
There's certain artists out there that you can see clearly that they've grown and evolved as artists. And there's other artists that I feel like that have been around for decades that look like they're Xeroxing. They're making like copies of their own art. And then it just like deforms.
Deteriorates it, yeah.
It's like you taught yourself. It's like you teaching yourself how to draw. It's like you're learning from yourself as opposed to like learning from others, you know? And it just kind of falls apart.
Almost sometimes it feels like when you have some people, they have a signature style, but then they use it so much that it becomes almost gimmicky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you went out of your way to draw this and what you're, you know what I mean? I don't know.
It's like Frank Miller.
Oh my God. His new stuff. I think he's trolling people. I think he's actually doing it on purpose.
It's so bad.
Bro just knows he's gonna get a bag out of the way, so he just chicken scratches it out and throws it.
Yeah, I was talking to my best friend about it, and I was like, my theory is that Frank Miller doesn't like the current direction comic book world is going, and this is his like fuck you to the industry.
Because you're saying his way to like sabotage.
Like it looks so bad that it looks intentionally bad. You know what I mean? Like
it looks bad, but you're still gonna buy it, and that's his commentary.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know Frank Miller.
There's another artist out there that I won't say his name out loud, but he is horrible, and he has been horrible for decades. And I also think he's very arrogant, and so that guy has not learned how to become a better artist either. And so
I kind of want to know who it is.
Right, I'm like,
because I know of a lot of horrible artists, like as people, like they're bad people, but usually they're also their art's like Ethan Van Sciver, like his art's good, but he's just a horrible person.
I think who I'm talking about right now, I wouldn't say he's a horrible person. I do think he's arrogant, but I don't think he's arrogant in a way that's like a malicious person. I do think he's a hater of everybody who hates on his art, but I don't think he's necessarily a bad person. Like I would have a beer with him, but I would not take art lessons from him, you know?
It's like
I'll just leave it at that, you know?
It's like a game of Guess Who.
I'll just leave it at that, you know? And we could talk afterwards, or people in the chat could guess who it is. But again, no hate to that artist. I don't know. Anyway, point being is, we'll move on.
All these people are amazing artists. Like we're just talking shit, but they're actual artists.
Yeah. Know? It's better than anything I could do, no matter who.
Anyone who has a professional career doing art is obviously leagues ahead.
And there's someone out there who's like, I fucking love John Romita Jr. and I love his stuff. So it might not be for me, but it's for someone out there, right?
And there's one person out there who loves Frank Miller's art. One singular person, I'm sure.
Frank Miller's current art.
Frank Miller.
Look,
Frank Miller.
This is what I say. There is no way that Frank Miller is watching this show or listening to the podcast. There are other artists and writers who do tune in, but Frank Miller, there's no way that Frank Miller tunes into Comic Talk. So again, and I'm not even saying outright hates on Frank Miller, but Frank Miller's Old Man Logan versus Dark Knight Returns little 2-page story in the crossover had to have been one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
But what's strange about Frank Miller is like I was recently rereading the part of what was it? It was X-Men from the 80s. God Loves, Man Kills. And you know
Yeah.
that little chunk wherein Logan went to Japan? All of that was drawn by Frank Miller. It's so
Hmm.
good. It's I was reading and
Yeah.
I was like, this art is great. It's like he made a conscious effort to switch up on us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm not saying
So
Frank Miller was always bad. No, he was clearly great. But
but that,
now
I think that's what makes it worse. It's like, what
it's the
happened?
fall off. And that
Uh,
sucks. That happens to
yeah,
anyone, you know?
this really isn't that bad. Yeah,
What, Wolverine? The Wolverine one?
that you were just talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you look at, I think it's Wolverine in Japan, I think it's called, or Wolverine versus the Yakuza. It was a good, it was a story within the God Love Man's Kills.
Well, but he also did the art, I think, for the original Wolverine series. Like the original, like Wolverine's first ever series that took place in Japan. I believe Frank Miller was the artist on that. I could be wrong.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I'm sure, but probably.
yeah. Okay. And then, you know, if you haven't looked it up already, look up the Old Man Logan versus Dark Knight Returns 2-pager that is literally if Clint Eastwood fought Clint Eastwood. Like that's literally
Chin on Batman.
It was just two geriatric old men insulting each other while beating the crap out of each other.
right, right. Um,
It was
you
Frank
know,
Miller and his daily conflict with himself in the mirror.
oh,
That was exactly what it was.
yeah. Um, so speaking of Frank Miller and Batman, let's talk about a Batman comic that is not Frank Miller. I'll let Brandon go first on this because I'm very curious why Absolute Batman 18 did not make your pick of the week.
Same.
Because I was thinking it would.
Oh, it was a 10 out of 10. I loved it. It was amazing. It was just Absolute Green Lantern was a little bit better.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with Absolute Batman not being good because that, like, the Poison Ivy fight, the, like, tying it back to the stuff with Gordon and what him and Bruce were talking about, the stuff with his mom in the Court of Owls and the cliffhanger, it was all really, really good. 10 out of 10 issue. I loved it. It was just Green Lantern had me like, what? You know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's talk about Absolute Batman 18. I think we all
Mhm.
read it, right?
Yep,
Jakey, you
I
read
just
it?
looked at the pictures.
I did.
Um,
Um, I really enjoyed it as well. I love what they're doing with Martha Wayne. Bringing in the quarter owls and changing them a little bit, the mystery around that. I'm really excited to see where that goes. Um, I liked also that this Batman, he's crossed the line, right? He didn't kill her, but he shot her heart, right? I like that just that universe, the darkness of that universe is taking a toll on him. I'm curious to see how deep he'll go. And I thought that moment when like what was it like his friends were expecting him to be there after he had constantly been there trying to reach out when that happened and this time he wasn't there. You know, I really like that too. I really enjoyed this series.
I agree.
Um, it was right up there for me. Like to be honest, I thought you were gonna pick it as your or one of you, so I was like, all right, I'll pick Logan. Even though I did enjoy Logan as well, but this was a
yeah.
good series.
I I mean I liked this issue. I have too many questions about it and like there wasn't anything bad about it. I want to know the point to it. Not in a bad way, but like I know it's leading us somewhere, right? And I think I'm just going to be very much more fulfilled when I find out where it's leading to. So, I don't know who the Court of Owls is. I'm very interested in what this universe's Court of Owls is. It hints a lot and not only hints, but shows us about Joker, Mr. Grimm, right? Like
Uh-huh.
it shows us because I was like, is that Bruce Wayne? Oh no, never mind. That's because in absolute DC, like he is essentially filling that like niche of like billionaire playboy.
He's got the
Right?
mansion, the Batcave, his Robins coming up in the 19th and 20th issue.
Is that what Absolute Robin is gonna be? Is his Robin, not
Yeah,
Bruce?
I think so. I mean, he was wearing a Robin pin on the cover, and the Court of Owls isn't the elite; it's the complete opposite. It's people striking back against the elite, which is Grimm. So I think, yeah, Grimm has his own Robins, which are going to be essentially the Court of Owls.
I mean, also they've been showing Dick Grayson like here and there.
Randomly, yeah.
Bro's
like, I'm going to do something about him tomorrow. And then last time he was like, I'm going to do something about him eventually. And I'm just like, Dick, are you going to do anything? You just keep saying you're going to do something about Batman.
Right.
To be fair, I wouldn't want to go up against him either.
I feel. Oh, where did Jeky go? Okay.
I don't know. Dropped off.
So I mean, yeah, I thought that the whole I never thought they would bring back Dick Grayson. I knew that they had like that one panel where he was like "fuck Batman," and that was like a joke essentially, right? Like an allusion to the Titans TV show. And like cool, but I didn't think that they were gonna do something with him. And then now it seems like they're gearing up. I wouldn't be surprised if they have Absolute Robin as two things essentially. I think they're gonna do something with Dick, and then I think they're gonna do something with whatever the Joker's doing. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I could see it.
You know, but I'm we were talking about Poison Ivy though. I think that this is the darkest and worst thing that Bruce has done. Like
yeah, so far
on the morality scale. And it wasn't killing Poison Ivy, but it was essentially saying, "Hey, I'm going to hurt you just so I can hurt you."
Yeah, taking away her humanity.
Yeah. You know?
And honestly, it was kind of a stupid move on his part because you had just defeated her and she was going to get revenge, but destroying her heart is going to make her revenge like 10 times worse. You could have just took the win, but you had to like emote on him after is basically what just happened.
Right. And also that was the one thing that he had over her, right? Like the one thing that he said, like, okay, that he could have kept that as like her kryptonite essentially.
Yeah. Now, if she comes back, she's not going to care if you destroy her heart because it's not the same one.
Yeah.
Didn't she surrender as well? Right?
She did. She was like, "All right, fine," and he was like, "Just kidding."
Like, yeah, it's like he had an opportunity to make an ally. Like, it's like she was going about it in a fucked up way, but like she essentially they have the same enemies, right? And he chose to make a bigger enemy out of her. Like she was focused on that world's version of the Joker, and he fucked her on and shot her heart, and now she's like, "Cool, I'm gonna come for you now." You know what I mean? It's that wasn't
the move. Yeah, and Barbara didn't agree with it either. Barbara was like, "This is not what you're supposed to be doing."
Yeah.
Speaking of Barbara, I mean, not much about Barbara. Commissioner Gordon hooking up with Martha Wayne.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Not just hooking up, they're in love. He said, "I'm in love with your mom." And I was like, "Hey."
Oh, so he said, "I'm grown. I don't have to talk to you about grown man things."
Yeah, he was like, "I'm an adult. I'm doing adult things with your mother.
Right.
Deal with it."
He's like, "I don't gotta explain shit. I don't have to explain myself to you."
Yeah.
Oh, Dimitri, I got about 10 minutes. I was just letting you know. Just give me a little.
For sure. But yeah, like I mean, it's just kind of funny where it's just like, I want them to be happy together, but now I'm finding out that Martha has like this weird deep past of what, like being a rebel.
She was a Talon with the Court of Owls, I guess.
Right, and she was the best one. She said too.
I don't think they shot her. Whenever she had this face of shock when he pulled the trigger. I think he shot the other Talons.
That'd be wild.
So who do you think this Talon is? That has to.
I think it's Bruce's dad.
No, you think Bruce's dad's alive?
I think so.
Yeah, that would be the plot.
Because like, what other shocking thing would the Talon be? Like,
just another character they have yet to introduce in. I mean, it could be one of the Graysons. It could be one of the Graysons.
It could be Jason. It could be anyone. But I'm throwing my bet out there that it's Thomas Wayne.
That is a wild.
That'd be wild.
If you were putting actual money on that, that'd be a wild.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't put money on it. That's my theory right now that it's Thomas Wayne. Okay. It could be anything.
I think Thomas Wayne has to stay dead for two reasons: for Bruce, and then also for Commissioner Gordon to be trying to get with Martha Wayne getting with. You know,
but if he comes back and then they got that beef.
That's what
this is. Love triangle. That's what
love triangle, exactly.
Love triangle.
Yeah.
But especially after the Absolute Batman annual, I like the idea of him being a true pacifist and kind of like that. Also, it makes it really interesting that Martha Wayne, former Court of Owl assassin or whatever they're doing if they're not assassins, ending up with him as a pacifist teacher is very interesting too. Like, that's quite the dynamic.
Yeah.
That's probably why she walked away from that life. Was for Thomas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sweet, you know. Brandon, what else did you read this week? Let's hit it.
Action Comics 1096 was good. Very confused on why the giant Kellex came through the portal, but you know, we continue on. Bleeding Hearts 2, great. Love Dennis Camp. I was kind of iffy on the first issue. I liked it, but issue 2 really reeled me back in. Dork 2 was great. A lot of fun. Brett Bean, just kind of fantasy time shenanigans. Emperor Aquaman 15, gas. Love Aquaman. He kind of came back and took back over his role as Emperor of Atlantis. He was like, they don't need a king anymore. They need an Emperor. And then, yeah, so interesting stuff there. Green Lantern Corps 14. Huh?
Wasn't he in space for a bit? Aquaman?
Aquaman's been like everywhere. He was in the blue, which is like, he was like in all the water connected to water throughout space. Yeah, it was just, it was the whole thing.
He's also hanging out with like Captain Nemo. He's also hanging out with the Wonder Twin
Zan,
you know, who's also connected with the blue. So
I like when they give him like more of a magic power set. Like when they give him like he's like a DC version of a waterbender. I like when they do that. That's not constant, but I like that.
I'm loving it. I just wish they would be. I wish they were using Jackson and Garth more. It feels like they've just been kind of in the background the whole time. Same with. There's been. We're 15 issues in. Not a single appearance of Black Manta.
That's
they're gonna build him up toward,
because like we haven't seen him since Dark Crisis. Like he had his whole like thing where he was being good again, like Black Manta, and then he joined the Legion during Dark Crisis, and we haven't seen him since. So I'm just kind of wondering what they're doing with him.
Yeah, they're bound to like be building up towards something.
Yeah, I mean he's in every single Aquaman run since his first appearance. So he's.
I mean, I'm very interested in DCKO or like the post DCKO stuff, and how the Omega energy is affecting people, and like the kind of the threads that they set up, you know. So Aquaman's one of them. What happened in Green Lantern Corps? Because both of you guys read this one, Green Lantern Corps 14.
Guy has the all sight now, so he can see the emotional avatars that died, like the baby versions of them, and he's trying to restore them to their full like power. So he like assembled a team of lanterns from different corps, like Larfleeze and Joe and all them, to kind of help find the avatars and restore them to their state they're supposed to be in. And he's the only one that can see them. So that's one of the Omega like kind of repercussions.
Does he actually have that Friar Tuck looking haircut or not?
Yeah. And he also has a robe now.
He looks like, what's his name? What was the guy from like, I think was it Martin Luther? The guy with the Pope with the robe that had like the bowl cut?
Yeah. The Friar Tuck sort of kind of those like monk looking guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Renaissance monk. Yeah.
Yep, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's that bald on top with the hair all around. Yeah,
and they gave him the robe, like the cloth too. Like he looks, and it
wasn't like a joke.
Like a man. He looks like
it kind of was. He allows everyone else to kind of praise him and everything, but whenever he gets in the room with like Jessica, he's like, God, can you guys stop? Like he loves the attention, and then he's just like, okay, I'm done with it.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah. Ashwad 231 Comics says only read issue 1 and 2 of Absolute Batman, have every issue so far except for Wonder Woman issue, so gonna read a load of them this weekend. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, gotta catch up.
That's a fun catch up.
Before Brandon has to leave, we have the last relic in our chat that hops in just to say sup ladies, which I think is just such a funny thing of like the internet's version of like, what's up, comic dorks? What's up, girls?
Sup, like, lady? I thought it was maybe it's more flirtatious. Like maybe he's like, sup, ladies?
What's up,
ladies? What up?
What's up, ladies?
Like,
what's good with you?
Yeah. How you doing?
You ladies into comic books? You ladies like Batman? I could tell you more. Yeah, you know. So I mean, sup to the last relic out there. I don't know where that's coming from, but you know, thank you.
A place of love.
I don't feel like that's an insult, you know.
Does he do it? Does this person do it all the time?
I don't know. I don't know who this
Oh,
person is.
I thought you were saying like it was like every
I thought it was a
episode.
consistent thing.
No,
It made it sound like this guy was like doing it every time. Like,
Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying.
It's
I
like an
was like,
ongoing joke or something. But no, I mean, I think Last Relic has been here in the chat before because it doesn't say first time chatter or whatever it says. So you know,
Okay.
it is what it is. We're gonna keep this episode going, but before Brandon has to go, Brandon, let us know where can we find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug before you get going?
yeah, The Cosmic Collector on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and I feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's the basis of it. So yeah, come and check me out. I have a comic book out right now called Hybrid on Kickstarter. We are going to be we met our goal. We've officially launched, and we're going to be getting them out in June. So I'm excited for everyone to read it.
Awesome, awesome.
That's what's up, dude.
Good luck on all of that, and thanks for coming on the show to talk about what you read.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Sorry I had to dip short.
No.
You know, it's early.
It's cool. No worries.
All right.
Have fun.
Peace.
Bye.
Oh wait, how do I leave?
Awkward.
Right?
It's like you can't. I don't know, Jecky. Have you ever done this thing where you do the perfect exit to like a party or whatever, and you're like, oh man, you know, I am super cool, and then you have to come back and you're like, oh shit, I forgot my keys. Never mind.
That's the worst. Hey, don't mind me. I'm not gonna say bye again.
Yeah.
That's fine.
It's like, all right, well, you know, we do the best we can. I'm trying to fix this this video, so anyone who's watching us live, yeah, it looks kind of funky, but you know, we're gonna figure things out. But for anyone listening on the podcast, you know, uninterrupted stuff. Jecky, what's another book that you read this week that you want to talk about? X-Men United?
Yeah. Let's talk about
that. And were you let down by it?
Yes.
Okay, same here. Yeah.
So I didn't like how a lot of things ended in the previous X-Men, and I think last time I was on here we talked about this, where lately Marvel has been doing number ones and marketing it as a soft reboot or a relaunch of some sorts, and it ends up feeling like more of the same. And this is that for me. The idea they had been hinting that they're gonna rebuild the school, but now Emma Frost is the school is a mental school, so everyone can go in. I didn't love that, and of course, Cyclops being the one who doesn't like the idea is also very cliche. But to me, just that doesn't feel like a real reboot. And when I see number one, and maybe I need to change that about how I consume Marvel comics. When I see number one, I assume it's a new soft reboot of some sorts, kind of like a jumping on point for new readers and let's start a new direction, especially since the previous direction wasn't always well received, right? It's kind of like it's an opportunity to course correct, and this wasn't that for me. But that was, that sounded very negative. Hope, tell me what you think.
No, I mean, you're trying to say that this number one should be to the point where people can pick it up and not have to wonder, wait, who are these people? Oh, I must have missed out. And like sometimes when people feel like missed out on past comics, they go back and they reread stuff, right? But sometimes they give up because they feel almost let down that they are behind the curve.
I feel like out of all the major titles and major teams, X-Men is one of the ones that's hardest to jump into because there's so many series, right? There's the X-Men series, Uncanny, Exceptional. There was NY X-Men, right? The New York one. There was X-Force, and there was also the Phoenix series, the Storm series, which are sometimes connected. It was a lot. And putting out a number one, and I always assume this is a good jumping on point. Just didn't feel like it, but also I didn't love the previous runs and how they were ending before that. Age of what was it?
Age of Revelation.
Age of Revelation. I didn't love what the direction a lot of it was going. So, but you're just kind of picking back up where you left off. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I have another problem. So, okay, this is what I think. Marvel, after the Krakoan Age ended, they wanted something that, like, fans of, let's just say, the X-Men 97,
Mhm.
fans who don't read comics can hop on comics, which I'm all for. I'm not gatekeeping. Some people out there who are idiots, they're like, comic books, like, you need to like pass a test to read the comics. It's like,
Right,
no,
right, right.
like
Or
the
you have to go
problem,
back and read like years worth of material.
and it's like, no, like, everybody's coming at it from a different angle. Like, some people fell in love with X-Men from the X-Men 97 show. Like, wild to think, but it's true, right? And then some of us have been, in love with X-Men since the 90s. Great. Some of us have been in love with X-Men since the 60s, right? And like, I don't consider them bigger fans than me. I wasn't around in the 60s. Like, who cares, right? There'll always be someone older than you who's been reading it longer. That's not what we're trying to do here. But at the very least, I think what ends up happening with X-Men or comics or any medium is like, you consistently need old fans, like
Mhm.
like fans who have been there for a while, and you need to find ways to bring in new fans. So for anyone out there who's a Star Trek fan, like, Starfleet Academy needs to exist,
Mhm.
even though it's not your cup of tea, because it's going to bring in, let's just say, teenagers into the Star Trek franchise. And you need that because, let's be honest, Star Trek fans are getting older and older, and you
Yeah.
need new blood. You just do.
Yeah.
And you need to have them, like, start off with Starfleet Academy, and then they maybe will go back and rewatch old Star Trek series. But the same with X-Men. So I understand, like, starting from a sort of status, like kind of wiping the status quo and starting anew. That being said, like, I don't like a psychic school.
Yeah, neither do I.
I don't like the idea of like a psychic school, and that's just because I don't like that kind of, like, the way they use psychic powers in that way.
Yeah, like it creates too many like variables. It just build a real school.
Yeah,
Just build a real school. Like find something. Sometimes it's okay to go back to how things were, right?
yeah,
I think even in a post-Critical world, and things are very different for the mutants, obviously, of the Marvel Universe, there is a space where you can have a school and go from there, right? They kind of had already started it with
with Kitty, with the
Kitty's team, right? Kitty's
exceptional
team,
X-Men. Yeah,
Exceptional X-Men, they had kind of started. I feel like Joe, you could have just built on that, you know what I mean? And if you wanted to keep Cyclops and some others as kind of like a Black Ops version of the X-Men because what they're doing is too dangerous to have the students around, that's fine. But you
yeah,
could have, I don't, this is not the way. I didn't enjoy this as a like, oh, that's really clever. I didn't think that was clever. I was like, okay, that's we'll see where
yeah.
they.
It just feels like a cop out, like, to do this, because right now in X-Men stuff, the original Graymalkin mansion, the original Xavier Institute, is a prison for mutants run by the government. Sure. And so they're like, well, we can't have that school, so let's do a psychic replica of that school. And I'm like, this is almost, in a weird meta way, maybe it's part of the plot. It's almost like refusing to progress. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? They are literally, in a weird way, not progressing because they're living in the memory of the mansion.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and granted, it's all fiction, but it creates a lot of questions in terms of like, I think she said something that make sure you have a stopwatch so that when you come back, you know how much time you were in the mental and in the psychic school.
Yeah.
And and I was like, yeah, you're also leaving yourself very vulnerable. And that's also like I didn't know Emma Frost was that powerful of a psychic.
She's
Like
not.
that's some Charles Xavier, Phoenix, like
Yeah,
for not even Jean
Phoenix.
Grey. Like that's some not even Jean Grey. That's some Phoenix, maybe Charles Xavier with Cerebro level. Like everyone's in here with you, and you're just like, nah, we're good. We have Sinestro's technology. We're good. I was like, okay, like I don't know. I didn't
Also,
love it.
yeah, like the new things they're building, which is like a Cerebro, but that's like an empath Cerebro,
Yeah.
didn't need to, like, what's the purpose? So empaths that one, no, what's the character from Exceptional X-Men who has the different empath powers? Is it named Empath?
I stopped the Special X-Men. I only read the regular and the Uncanny.
Okay, so they made essentially a Cerebro that said it's like Cerebro except it can reach out to people who are distressed and
Yeah,
emotionally
so
vulnerable.
that's another thing, right? Like I read a decent amount of X-Men, but I don't read all of them.
Yeah.
I would have never gone that. Like I had to really like piece things together. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just clicked now because of what you said. You know what I mean? This is not a true number one. This is not an easy jumping on point for anyone.
No. No, not for new readers. And also, it should have been if
Extremely.
this was like putting together the school, even the new students, I had to be like, wait, where have I met them before? I know
Right,
Wolf Cub. I know
right.
Wolf Cub, but like, where have I met them? If you weren't reading some of the other series, I think this issue could have been better. And again, Evel Ewing is a good writer, but this issue could have been better served by, okay, she's going to open the school up and show us little vignettes of different students, like
Yeah.
reintroduce to us these
Reintroduce
students
everyone.
getting ready for their first day of school. But
Yeah.
instead, they're like, no, 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 we got to rush things. We got to like
Yeah.
get to it. Now it's a psychic school. Now they're already fighting in the danger room. Now we already, and like, it's like,
And it's like, yeah, it's almost like the Matrix. It's like if something happens to you in there, something will happen to you in the real
well,
world.
why would you set it up that way? That is
Right.
a horrible setup.
Yeah. Again, like I didn't know Emma Frost had that level of psychic powers. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're taking some liberties here. And
Yeah.
maybe there's something that happened in that series that I missed. You tell me, but like for me, I'm kind of like, okay, this it feels like a stretch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a very like you stretch this out to make the plot work and how you wanted it.
It seems like also just asking for trouble, because if you die in the psychic realm of this mansion, you die in real life. So what's happening? A bad guy from coming in and just being like, all right, everybody literally connected to the hive mind right now, dead.
Right. Right.
And it's like, oh, well, yeah, that's why are you setting yourself up for that? Like,
Yeah, and you've already emphasized that no mutant is safe. So yeah, I'm gonna be like basically in a coma for a certain amount of time in school and leave my body super vulnerable and on a regular basis, by the way, because they're gonna be going to school frequently.
yeah,
Like, I don't know, man. It's a little I didn't like it. Might be straight up, I didn't like it.
I did not. Yeah, I didn't like it either. I mean, we'll move on and we'll talk about some other stuff with the remaining time that we have. But like, yeah, I was not a fan of that. It's not what I would have. Again, I'm not writing for Marvel. I wish I was, but I'm not, and so
All right.
understandable. But could this have been better served by doing what some of the other Marvel series do, where it's like just have different academies that meet up, create this world of like different mutant academies that meet up, kind of like, and I hate, and in a weird funny way, like I hate to bring up J.K. Rowling,
Mhm.
but like in the Harry Potter universe, like there's different like academies, like do
Yeah.
that with X-Men, except now you get to do it with hopefully creators and messaging that tell you that like it's okay to be different, it's okay to actually be different, as opposed to, you know,
Like
problematic writers out there, right? So cool.
again, you don't have to. Not. I think sometimes if the previous formula worked for me, the same way when I think of Justice League, I think of the Watchtower,
Yeah.
right? The Justice League being on the Watchtower. I've always associated X-Men with a school, and I think it's okay to go back to physical school. Even if you make it like two schools, like back in the day when Wolverine had his school, I think named after Jean, and then Cyclops had the Xavier Institute, that
Yeah.
worked out. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's okay to go back to the sometimes to the previous formula. Like Batman always, for the most part, has had a Batcave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think it's okay.
Yeah. I think also what's funny is like, and I brought this up, Starfleet Academy. Starfleet
Hmm.
Academy, the premise is that they're starting the school back up again after like 1,000 years of not having that school. So essentially Starfleet Academy is about that. But in Starfleet Academy, they have two academies in one place. It's the War College and then it's Starfleet Academy. So
Hmm.
it would be kind of cool with the X-Men if there was essentially a more hardcore school and a
Hmm.
not as hardcore school, and maybe a third school, and they essentially were three campuses of mutant academies where you can do different things, you know?
and they might have already done this, but I would have enjoyed if Rogue, Kitty, and Emma maybe had one school, right? And that school was a proper school.
Yeah,
And then Cyclops, because he's become a little more militant and a little more serious, but also he's playing a role where like he's kind of like the necessary villain for mutants,
yeah,
right? In a sense where like he'll do things that will be considered against the law by the government, but that mutants need.
yeah,
And by keeping themselves separate from him, he can do that without hurting the image of the main X-Men or
yeah,
of the school. I think I know it might have been done in a version of this before, but I think it can still work because that's
yeah.
uh,
It, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but like, it wasn't really my cup of tea, which sucks because I like the idea. Let's
yeah.
move on to really quick reviews. You read Imperial Guardians #1. I didn't get to read this one, but it looked really cool by the premise
It's
and by the cover. You read this one, right?
I did. It's really cool. Basically, Maximus from the Eternals. Uh,
Inhumans.
Inhuman, sorry,
Yeah,
puts together a new Guardians team, and they're basically speaking of they're kind of like the Black Ops of the new intergalactic alliance.
yeah,
So, he says that Peter Quill put him in charge to put this team together, but he's also not letting him talk to Peter Quill, and so I wonder if Peter even knows that this team is being put together. So basically, he puts this team together, and he's like, for peace to continue, there needs to be someone who does the dirty work behind the scenes, and this is what this team is gonna be. And a lot of them, because they believe in Peter Quill as a leader, or because they want to give this new intergalactic alliance a chance, they very reluctantly accept. I like seeing Captain Marvel in space. I like seeing Gamora in as well. So always, and the new Ghost Rider Punisher is dope. So
yeah. Well, he's
I
from a previous stuff, Cosmic Ghost Rider.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
so it was pretty good. This was an introductory kind of like how the team got put together, how like they don't trust what's his name, Maximus,
yeah.
and it it was good. I'm really interested to see where this goes.
I think it sounds awesome. I was a little bit let down that it wasn't. I thought it was going to be a book about the Shi'ar Imperial Guard, who I
Mm,
love, and it wasn't. So then I was like, oh, well, I was a little let down by that. But not to say I'm still excited for it. I need to read it. Um,
mhm.
and I do think the lineup is very interesting. The only one that hasn't technically been associated with the Guardians of the Galaxy, I didn't put two and two together because I was on the Shi'ar state of mind. I didn't put two and two together that this is essentially a Guardians of the Galaxy book. I didn't.
Mhm.
That's the Guardians. I thought Shi'ar Imperial Guard. That's where Imperial Guardians comes from, but rather
No,
it's a Guardians of the Galaxy
it's a
sort of
new
situation.
version of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But they're very Black Ops like and it actually had a pretty interesting ending too. Like I
Okay.
don't want to lean this too much, but basically like there was a Kree general who did not like the alliance, and he was basically about to set like he was threatening the alliance. He didn't like that the Inhumans were now ruling, and basically he was gonna turn on a bunch of nukes
Oh.
and like, go kamikaze, and then Captain Marvel ends up having to kill him to save the universe,
Okay.
you know. And so that was
Huh.
obviously that was a little rough on her conscience,
Yeah.
but it seems like this is gonna be the type of mission that because if the general public had known that a team sent by the official government had killed this Kree because he was a very popular general, it would hurt the peace. So they kind of did it Black Ops style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm wondering
So
how Amadeus Cho is dealing with all this because he's the only person who's never been on the Guardians, essentially, or been linked to them, and then he's also
mhm.
like the best-hearted person. So,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, all right, I'm curious. All right, we got to talk real quick. Magic and Colossus issue #2.
It was okay. It
Okay,
feels like continuation of the previous Magic series. Just now Colossus is in there, so like
yeah.
mixing in mutant stuff and Magic stuff. It's okay.
Okay, all right. What about Storm? I didn't read. I read issue 1 of this. I didn't get to read issue 2.
I'll be honest with you, like I'm finding this new Storm series hella confusing.
Okay,
Um,
fair.
like with the the War of the Thunder Gods.
Yeah.
This is kind of like just consequences of some of Storm's decisions. But it also feels like there's like so many people coming after Storm right now.
Mm.
I to the point I was like, I'm like, oh, did I miss something? I found it a little confusing.
Yeah.
How about?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't read it. You didn't.
I liked issue 1, but I thought that issue 1 also wasn't even like a first issue. It was like a continuation of the previous series. So
Absolutely. Yeah, because we talked about it last time.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Did you read Bleeding Hearts #2?
No.
It's by DC Vertigo. I like this. It's going in a direction that I never knew. Shout out to DC's Vertigo line, because they are taking some big swings with some of these books, and good on them for like investing in creator owned content, right? So Bleeding Hearts is about a zombie apocalypse, but the zombies have their own like thinking and way of life and like culture almost. They're just dumb cannibals in a way, but they have like the way they think. But this main character, his heart starts beating again and he gets emotions back. And so this issue was more from the human point of view. The first issue was from the zombie point of view. And they're really setting up the fact that this zombie does not just want to eat everybody. So
Okay. Yeah, you told me about the first issue, and I remember you saying it was really good. I should pick this up. Maybe I'll pick him up this weekend.
Yeah. And like, yeah, but like as a human, do you take a chance on this zombie that isn't eating you but could eat you later? Or do you
Does
just
he
like
talk?
kill it?
Does he talk?
No, not to the way that they can understand him. They can. The zombies can understand each other. Like they talk to each other and they have conversations. But like,
but humans can understand zombies.
No.
Yeah.
So interesting thing there. Was there any other books that you read this week?
Let's see real quick.
If not, I got a couple that I read, and then that's it.
Go ahead, dude.
No, but I mean, was there anything else on your list?
No, I think that was it for me.
Okay. I think actually the last book that was on my list that I read was Supergirl issue #11.
Okay.
I jumped in on this one because I'm interested in this Reign of the Superboys sort of era of Superman. So Superman's gone on sabbatical after the events of DCKO, and so I think there are going to be 5 Superboys that are going to be coming into mainline comics to kind of team up in a way. The cover of this really sells Boy Thunder, which is a young version of Magog from Kingdom Come. They're really selling Boy Thunder on the cover, but he only appears in one panel in this issue. This issue was really a Supergirl story, which rightfully so, it's Supergirl issue 11. But it was really about Supergirl getting double-crossed and like, it's a good series. I like this one. I just thought it was a little bit of false advertising on what this issue was about. But otherwise, it's good. It's cute. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I read the first couple issues and then I ended up dropping this one. But
it wasn't enough cheesecake for you, because it's pretty.
Yeah, I was like, this is a lot.
No, it was very cheesecakey in the beginning. I'm like, why do they gotta look this good? It's too much. It's too.
Yeah, it kind of took over. You remember the Power Girl issue that was the series that was running before? It was kind of like the same thing. It was just like, all right, come on, chill out with the fan service.
It's snatched waists and like big old thighs, like
absolutely, and
which I'm not complaining about, but it is a little distracting if I'm like everybody, and I'm like, great, okay, cool, but also
it's one of those things you feel like a pervert reading it.
Maybe you did. I'm just in my element, man. Like I'm doing,
You're like, man.
Shout out to the artist, great stuff, but also like, yeah, I do view like Power Girl more as that type of thing and Supergirl less so, but
yeah.
Okay, fine, I am a fan of the series, so I've kind of gotten over it, but like what are you going to do,
It is what it is, right?
Yeah,
it's comic.
It is what it is. But yeah, I'm interested to see where Reign of Superboys goes. So, that's pretty much it for this episode. I know Brandon already said goodbye. Jecky, thank you so much for coming on the show and taking time out of your Thursday to talk comics.
Of course, man. Always a pleasure to be out here talking to you guys, man.
It's always great having you. Where can people find you? What do you got coming up? Anything you want to plug?
All right, so it's Jecky Comics. I'm on TikTok, Instagram mainly, and getting on Blue Sky now. I've created a comic book page or a social media page to help people navigate comic books. So I do reviews and talk about old and current stuff. So
Nice.
check me out.
All right, cool. Thank you to anybody out there who is watching and or listening. If you're watching us live, you're watching us on youtube.com/The Keeg Show, or maybe you're listening to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts from, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., etc. Wherever you are watching or listening, like, comment, subscribe. Let us know you're out there. It's always great that you guys are listening or watching. But, write something up, write a comment on Spotify, click like, whatever, write a review. Help us out, stuff that doesn't cost any money. You can help us out. Now, if you do want something that costs money, but it does also help us out, we got a Patreon at patreon.com/The Keeg Show. We got some exclusive content there for right now. We're creating more exclusive content, so definitely stay tuned to Patreon. So, there's that. What were you going to say, Jeky?
No, that's it. I was telling them to show us some love.
Yeah,
It's a great show, and there's always I go back and rewatch episodes that I'm not on YouTube sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, this has views. So yeah, let us know you're out there.
Yeah. If you are on social media, you can follow us at The Keeg Show. The Keeg is our main umbrella of the different shows that we do. Comic Talk is just one of them, but it's our most consistent, our most stable show, and that's every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, live. But The Keeg Show is on social media. TikTok and Instagram are two biggest ones at The Keeg Show. We're also on Blue Sky and Threads and all that at The Keeg Show /The Keeg Show. Wherever you can find The Keeg, we are there. So, like, comment, subscribe, give us a follow, whatever. We are going to be at WonderCon in Anaheim. I personally am, The Keeg is doing one panel at WonderCon, and then I am moderating that panel and another panel. So I'm moderating two panels at WonderCon in Anaheim this year. So if you're out there in Southern California, come by Anaheim WonderCon and look those panels up. I'll give you guys more information when we get to it, and we've cemented the times and dates. But we're going to be at WonderCon official panels, so got that to look forward to. That is pretty much it. Shout out to Ashwan231 Comics. Shout out to The Last Relic. Sup, ladies. And shout out to anybody out there who is watching and or listening. Jeky, thank you so much. Thank you again to Brandon, who is not here right now, but he was earlier. Once again, I am your host, Dimithri Perera, and this has been Comic Talk for the week of March 12th, 2026. Take care, everybody. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Super fast, gotta beat the boss and get the loot, cause it's the king, and we got geek news.